Last time I showed you how a credit card is built to trap you. So here's the part that almost feels illegal. The exact same thing. Debt is how the rich got rich. They borrow money they don't even need, on purpose, and it makes them richer. Not because they're cheating, but because they understand one thing about debt you were never taught. It has a direction. Point it at the wrong thing, it's a leash. Point it at the right thing, it's an engine. So let me show you the 4 rules the wealthy use to turn debt into more money, and why none of it requires already being rich. Rule 1. The spread. This is the whole game, and almost nobody gets taught it. Good debt only works when the thing you buy with it earns more than the loan costs you. That's it. Borrow at 6%, buy an asset that returns 10, and that 4% gap, the spread, is money you're making on money that was never yours. The rich aren't borrowing to spend. They're borrowing because the spread pays them to. And the flip side is the warning. If what you bought returns less than the interest, the spread is negative, and it's bad debt, no matter how good it felt to buy. Watch what that gap actually does over time. You borrow $100,000 at 6% and put it into an asset returning 10. The loan's cost stays flat, but the asset keeps compounding above it, and the gap between the two, the spread, is pure gain stacking on top of money you never had to save. That 4% doesn't sound like much until you see it climb. That's rule 1. Good debt isn't about how much you borrow. It's about one number. Does the thing you bought earn more than the loan costs? Positive spread, engine. Negative spread, leash. Rule 2. The leverage. This is where the spread stops being small and starts being serious. Leverage means using a little of your own money to control a much bigger asset. Put 20% down on a $500,000 property and you control the whole thing with $100,000. Now if that asset earns 8%, you didn't make 8% on your $100,000. You made 8% on the full $500,000. Leverage takes that little spread from rule 1 and multiplies it by the size of the asset. The catch, and it's a real one, leverage multiplies losses too, which is exactly why the spread has to be real before you ever touch it. That's rule 2. Leverage doesn't create the gain, it just multiplies whatever direction you're already pointed, up or down. Rule 3. The bank's money. Because the wealthiest move isn't spending your money smartly. It's not spending your money at all. Here's what most people never see. The rich buy income-producing assets, a business, a rental, equipment, using the bank's money, and the asset itself pays back the loan. The rent covers the mortgage. The business covers its own financing. And the whole time, their own cash stayed put, invested somewhere else, still compounding. So at the end, they own the asset, they kept the income, and their original money never stopped working. That's rule 3. You spend your money to buy things. The rich spend the bank's money to buy things that pay for themselves and keep their own money working the whole time. Rule 4. The tax edge. And this is the one that quietly makes good debt cheaper than even your own cash. Remember from the 100 million episode, borrowed money isn't income, so it isn't taxed. When you sell an investment to get cash, you trigger tax. When you borrow against it instead, you don't. On top of that, the interest on good debt, a mortgage, a business loan, is often tax deductible, which lowers the real cost even further. So the wealthy can pull large amounts of money out of their assets, tax-free, while the assets keep growing untouched. That's the buy, borrow, die engine, and it runs on good debt. That's rule 4. Good debt isn't just cheaper than your credit card. After tax, it can be cheaper than spending your own cash. So step back and look at both sides of this machine. The credit card and the rental property run on the exact same engine, compound interest. On the card, it points at you, and every month it takes a little more. On the asset, it points away from you, and every month it brings a little more. Same physics, same math, opposite direction. The credit card and the millionaire's loan aren't different tools. They're the same tool, aimed at different things. And you don't need to be rich to use the good side. You need the spread. The one rule that protects you from the whole bad half. Never borrow for something that loses value, and never borrow unless the thing you buy pays you more than the loan costs. Get that one thing right, and debt stops being a trap and starts being the fastest tool you have. Most people spend their entire life on the losing side of the same machine the rich use to win, paying interest, never collecting it. Debt was never the enemy. It's a multiplier, and you choose the direction with what you point it at. A credit card or an asset, a leash or an engine. Now you can finally see both sides of the same machine and choose which side you're standing on. If you want the other half of this, the 4 levels of debt that drag you down, the debt episode lays them all out, and the credit card breakdown shows the leash up close. Watch those next. Subscribe, tell me in the comments which side you've been on, and I'll see you on the way up. Your money, every level.